So someone asked about the tall grass that looks like a foxtail on top. Is this pretty close to what you're describing?
That's it.
So this is another perennial. It happens to be a non-native. And if this stuff continues to spread and start to become a denser stand, what do you think would become of these weeds?
Bye-bye.
Push them out.
And why do you think a grass, perennial grass, would be able to push out the weed?
Because when they germinate, they're just tiny, and that's an old, strong plant.
Yeah, these guys got to start over from seed every year. And once you got a perennial in there that's holding on to his world, it's amazing how all of a sudden these problem plants, you may not see them as a problem. You may see what is the problem. Problem is it's a very simplified community of life, and we talked about the fourth process you're managing is for the complexity of the community, the living species. And here you're dominated by annuals, and here when you start to add a functional group of perennial forbs or perennial grasses, all of a sudden those species that are perennial and can hold on to their world, these annuals and biennials are no longer suited to the environment in which they're trying to grow. And you may have more seed than you can imagine, but it cannot grow in that environment. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I want to show you one of these other perennials here that's interesting. There's a great big patch of it here.
A water-loving plant?
This can grow in some wetter soils typically, but it's in our coast range here. It also grows on uplands. But it's a rhizomatous grass. Instead of being a bunch grass, well, it's not even a grass. This is called
Not papyrus grass, right?
I forget what the common name is, but the scientific name is Juncus xiphoides. It looks like grass, but it's actually one of the rushes.
Yeah, it looks like cattail, like baby cattail.
And so because it's rhizomatous, rhizomatous plants are different than bunch grasses because they have underground stems that reach out and pop up. And so something like this may be just one plant, this whole big patch here. But it doesn't look too great to me in terms of its vigor. Why? I see its own litter on the soil surface. It's horizontal litter, but it's all just covering up all the growing points. And then I see a few more widely spaced things like mustard covering it up with the old dead gray thatch. So when I look at that, I say, holy mackerel, if I could get in there with a bunch of cows or horses or a mower or do something to get rid of all that excessive thatch, then that same little colony of rush, I'll guarantee you it would be twice as productive, twice as vigorous. Here's what the seed heads on it look like.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a native, correct?
This is a native perennial. And when I yanked it out of the ground, I kind of ripped off part of the rhizome, these underground stems. I forgot your name.
Steve.
Steve, you're the man. That I lost more of those damn spades because I'm not smart enough to stay away.
He got pockets for it.
Got a couple.
So anyway, we're gonna see another species here.
You look like
Here's another perennial, bunch grass.
I know, right?
So we're just gonna keep looking. We're gonna see lots and lots of things that I look for when I'm evaluating land and what are the possibilities.
What is this one called again?
Harding grass.
Harding.
It's a non-native perennial that was brought in the 50s and 60s for ranches to try to establish on rangelands. And some people like it. The native plant people hate it with a purple passion because it can spread and really suppress many of the natives that we'd also like to see thrive.